Mic check for the YouTube stream. Mic check for the YouTube stream.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is David Stinson. I will be chairing today's Scarborough Committee Adjustment hearing. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that apply to the property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. But first, the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, including Inuit and Métis. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with the multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, while others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are now streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting via a compatible electronic device and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted upon entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you mute your devices until you are called upon to speak. Those participating by video will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when their item is called. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5 minutes allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating via WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during the video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect these instructions. Receiving a copy of the decision of the committee. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of a decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, or in some limited circumstances, to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act, generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons, and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Hearing procedure. I will call each item in order listed on the agenda. Making your submissions. When an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are advised the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute mark. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in this application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then, individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Morning session. Before hearing the first item, I'd like to ask, do we have minutes to confirm of the last meeting of the Committee of Adjustment?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and panel members. Yes, we do have minutes from the January 16th, 2025 hearing that have been confirmed and are ready for adoption this morning.
Do I have a motion from committee to approve these minutes?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move adoption of the minutes of the January 16th meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Oman. Do I have a seconder?
I second that motion.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. We have a motion by Ms. Oman, a seconded by Ms. McCauley. All those in favor? And the motion's carried. I'd like to ask the treasurer now, Deputy Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral?
Through you, Mr. Chair, before we get to deferrals, we can ask if there's any declarations of interest from staff or the members. I see none from staff.
Are there any from members? There are no.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, with respect to deferral requests, we do have 2 deferral requests for this morning's agenda. The first is item number 6, municipal address of 137 Sandown Avenue and file number A0275/24SC. The reason for this request is from staff due to improper notification from the applicant. There are no registered speakers for this item, and staff have made multiple attempts to contact the agent, but the agent is also not on the line this morning.
Thank you very much, Deputy Treasurer. Upon reviewing the file, I have no concerns to defer this matter. Does anybody on committee have any concerns? Go ahead.
Just a question to staff. Is the agent aware of the deferral request?
Through you, through the chair, yes, the agent is well aware of the deferral request. Its staff have made multiple attempts and advised the agent that they must attend this hearing today.
Okay, thank you. Then, no, I don't have any concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Holman. Okay, can I have a motion? Does anyone want to put forth a motion to defer item number 6 until a future date? Go ahead, Ms. Holman.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I would move deferral of this item at the request of planning staff, and that would be sine die.
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's also automatic notice due to improper notification, and it does not need to be sine die. It can just be to the next available date.
Okay, so I would move deferral then to the next available date due to improper notification.
Thank you, Ms. Holman. Do I have someone to second that motion?
I will second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. We have a motion to defer by Ms. Holman, and we have a seconded by Mr. Khan. All those in favor? And the motion's carried. Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the second deferral request for this morning is item number 7, municipal address of 44 Bonnecherre Crescent, file number A0276/24SC. This deferral request is from the applicant. And we do have the agent on the line, as well as one registered speaker in concern. The second registered speaker from 10 PALMAR Crescent has advised that they will not be attending this hearing.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Is the speaker who objects here in the audience today? Can you raise your hand? Okay, very good. Just to be clear. I also understand you from the Deputy Treasurer, we have the applicant online. Perhaps we could.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, can you please, we're going to do this all day. When we have applicants or agents speak, we want 3 things. We want to know your status. Are you the applicant or agent? Your full name and the address that you come from. So please state that for the record.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, my name is Yaso Somalingam. I'm the authorized agent on this application. My address is 880 Ellesmere Road, Unit 234, Scarborough, Ontario.
Thank you very much, sir. Very, very briefly, why do you want the deferral?
Okay, so the neighbors objected the application with zoning concern on the driveway width. We are unable to get this verified from the zoning examiner on time. So we have been trying to reach the zoning examiner for the whole week this week. And via email and the phone call. So since we don't have an answer for the neighbor, so I had to have no choice than postponing to the next available meeting, and I'll verify that information for the neighbor.
Thank you, sir. Seems reasonable to me. Well, let me canvass the panel here. If anyone has any questions for the agent?
I don't, however, is one of the objectors online? Yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Woman. We'll circle back. Let's hear from the objector. Can you identify yourself by name, full name and address, please?
Hi. My name is Gautam Ganesan. I'm from 4 Panmure Crescent.
Sir, are you in agreement to defer or not defer this matter? That's all you can speak to at this time.
Does that mean that this matter would be raised up at another time where it could be discussed?
Correct.
I'm okay with the deferral.
Thank you, sir. Anyone from panel have any questions for anyone? No, I'm getting the no nods. So can I have a motion to defer this matter? Go ahead, sir.
Through the chair, I move to defer this matter, item number 7, to allow the applicant more time to discuss with his neighbor. I think that's reasonable to do. Thank you.
Thank you for your motion. Do we have a seconder?
The motion.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. We have a motion moved by Mr. Hoy, and we have it seconded by Ms. McCauley. All those in favor? Motion carried.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, I will also state for the record there are no files to be closed or withdrawn this morning. And with that, we can start the agenda item number 1.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Do we have the applicant or agent with us? Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, just before you begin, I'm just going to read something briefly. Hold on, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your indulgence. Item number 1, this is for 16 Pelmar Place, Toronto. And this is an application to construct a rear yard addition and new front porch to the existing dwelling. There are 2 variances requested involving greater lot coverage being utilized and also the rear yard setback. Who is on the line for this item?
From 16. Hi, my name is Zubair Kanat from 16 Pelmar Place. I'm the owner of the property.
And the address, sir?
16 Pelmar Place.
Thank you. So does anyone on committee want to hear any presentations or have any questions for the applicant? No. Thank you. In canvassing this committee, nobody seems to need a presentation or ask any questions. This seems like a pretty straightforward file. There are conditions with urban forestry services, and there's 4 letters of support. Shall we take this into committee? Sir, is there anything you'd like to add?
Myself?
Yes.
No, just wanted to, if I am able to make remarks, I mean, I'd like a small presentation if that's okay with you guys.
You're sitting pretty well right now, sir. You can make a presentation if you like, but this committee seems pretty satisfied with what we're reading and seeing. What say you?
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that then.
I think that's a good answer, sir. I'm going to look at the committee now and ask if somebody would like to make a motion for this item.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, this application is very straightforward. I think it meets the 4 tests. It fits within the context of the neighborhood, so I would move approval, including forestry condition number 2.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman. Do we have someone on committee who would like to second that? Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
I'll second the motion.
Ms. Ullman has moved to approve this item with the condition of urban forestry. Mr. Khan has seconded. All those in favor? Motion carried. Okay, we're going to move to item number 2.
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's come to our attention that the agent for item number 2 is not on the line, so I suggest we stand down this item and move to number 3. Okay. All right, through the chair, we have the agent in person.
That's wonderful. Just give me a second, sir, to say my little spiel, and then we'll have you speak. For the record, this is item number 2, 261 Bellamy Road North. And this is to construct a new second-floor deck with railings and privacy screen. This application was previously deferred by this committee on November 13th. There is a variance requested dealing with the platform at the rear yard and also looking at the rear yard setback. Sir, you are the agent. Your full name and your address, please. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Kyle Small. I'm the agent of 261 Bellamy Road North.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you could make a presentation, but let me canvass this committee. Would anyone on committee like a presentation, or does anyone have any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Holman.
Could you please speak to the opposition letter that we got? It speaks in particular to privacy, the grade difference at the back, and the proximity to the rear lot line.
Yeah, so that's the reason why we put up the privacy screening, because we're right up against there. Try to allow privacy for both my client and the people living behind them. That was pretty much the best that I could have came up with to kind of alleviate, you know, that we're right up against the property line there. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
What kind of privacy screening are you gonna intend? So is it gonna make the massing look even?
Do you guys have a copy of the drawings there, and I could explain it, what's going on there?
Like, what are you using, board on board or?
Yeah, so
lattice or-
from what I've seen, they're like just basic modern. Yeah, if you could zoom in a little bit there, that'd help. Yeah, so I just pretty much, we have like the posts there spread apart every 4 feet, and then we're just gonna have those kind of horizontal kind of wood, like modern, very, very modern, simple privacy screening. It's horizontal panels. That's about as much as I can explain. You see them on the internet all the time, to be honest. It will be wood,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else have a oh, go ahead.
Through the chair, can I confirm, has the platform already, is it in construction already?
Okay, so what happened is the actual platform itself was already there. It's like a steel frame platform as a concrete deck. Those 3 posts. And that was already there. So before the previous owner had that kind of all covered, there was like wood in between the posts representing walls and like some door on the side. So by the time I got into the project, my client had already demoed a majority of that underneath there. So it's pretty much right now, it's just you have the 3 posts and then the deck, the concrete deck, and that's all that's there right now. So the idea is my client wants a rear deck, and we have a window in the back that we want to cut and put a door. And then complete the rest of the deck with the privacy screen and the stairs.
Can I just confirm one of the photo depicts that, right? Could the committee, could the staff put up a photo like this? Just to confirm that's my understanding. It's in one of the tree photos, I believe.
Yeah, well, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Is that the?
That's where it's there. You get the concrete deck and the posts.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Do we have a speaker online to talk to this matter?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do have a speaker online.
I can always say lots of things, but I think I'd like to hear from the speaker. Can we arrange for that now?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir. Your full name and address, please.
Rex Nolan, 12 Cheyenne Drive, Scarborough, Ontario, or Toronto. M1J2I6.
Very good, sir. Can you give us your thoughts? You have 5 minutes if you need it, but you can speak to this issue. Would you like to?
I'd like to start with what's existing. When they asked for the first variance to allow them to continue to be so far back in the backyard, they said they were going to get rid of that existing deck and platform because it was an eyesore. He seems to be now saying, well, since we've got that, we might as well use that as an excuse to use the second one. So, you know, when they did the first objection, he seems to have changed his mind. And if this deck is so important, why didn't they move the property forward? He didn't even bring it up the first time that he was planning to move the house basically 10 inches from the backyards. He's asking for a variance from what originally was set up by the bylaws of 7.5 meters. So with the variance for the deck, he'd be 6.44 meters. He wants to take it down to 0.26 meters. Saying it's a variance from 1.84 to 1.06 is just using one section of the bylaw, not keeping in the true nature of the bylaw where they expected it to be 7.5 meters from the backyard. You know, in essence, if he puts a flower pot on his deck, it's going to be in our backyards. Privacy deck, as you notice, he isn't putting one on the stairs. So he's putting a stairway at the back, which could allow entry to the second floor without going through the house. Has no privacy for us. We can have a million people walking up and down, staring into my backyard for all of 10 inches. The privacy fence is looking at, if it's a privacy fence, means there should be no, basically it would be no light coming in for that deck. It'd be nothing. And if there is light, then it isn't a privacy fence for us because we have people looking in from 10 inches away from my backyard. You know, he was supposed to address last time about the irrigation and the drainage. So far, nothing's been done about that. Part of it was supposed to be getting rid of the rock platform that he's calling a deck. But he didn't do that, hasn't been done. So everything, it's sort of like he's trying to play on it, in my opinion. It'd be a nice idea if the house was 8 meters forward. There's lots of room in the front yard for a deck if he wants a deck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have some comments, but I'm going to look to the committee first. Does anybody have any questions for this speaker?
Mr. Chairman, I think the agent can rebut to the concerns that were raised.
Thanks, Ms. Holman. Sir, you have up to 5 minutes to rebut what you've just heard as the agent.
Yeah.
You don't have to take 5 minutes, but you have up to that. Do you have anything to say in response to this gentleman's concerns?
Do you mind if you guys put comments in and then I respond? Does that work? I would like to hear if you guys have comments as well.
So you have to respond directly to this
Directly?
gentleman
Okay.
if you'd like to, but
All
you
right.
can't
Sure, I
wait
will.
to hear from us first. Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay. All right, so he did bring up a good point. There was no privacy on the stairs. It wouldn't hurt to add a privacy screening around the stairs either. Not a problem. As for, he mentioned something about the fence, or no, yeah. To alleviate any more privacy, we could possibly raise some of those rear fences. Very old fences, most of them are kind of falling over already. He mentioned about the privacy screening not being privacy screening. So the bylaw states that it needs to be a minimum of 50% visibility, a maximum, and all of those are all set to that. I was speaking with zoning, and they're the ones who approved that privacy screen is correct. So the next thing is he mentioned about us tearing it down. We haven't tore it down as yet because we've been waiting for the hearings. We're not just going to rip it down without any type of demolition permit. And as well, he is kind of right. It's an obscure-looking structure, 100%. Or I didn't like it once I got there. The next thing is, would I be able to rip it down and put up a wood deck? That's kind of my question. Can I rip that down and put up a wood deck in its place? If it's too big, I could reduce it as well. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I need to say. And yeah, he mentioned about us changing our mind. I mean, that's on the client. That's not really anything I'm in control of, right? So yeah. Thank you.
Are you done, sir?
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
And thank you. You've done
Okay.
an answer. That's appropriate. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Ms. Holman.
Can staff put that picture back up again? I'm looking at the picture. It almost looks like there's a support piece on the fence supporting this deck, and that it actually goes a little beyond the fence. But, so that's one question. And then second of all, like, yeah, what is the problem with taking it down and just having an at-grade kind of, I don't even know why people would want to sit there, but because there's so little space. But I mean, in the letter, and the person that spoke is the same person. I mean, they're bringing up a very valid issue. I don't think any of us would want something practically in our backyard like that, especially when it's raised, and the grade, I believe, is higher also. So am I to understand you can't take it down and do something else back there?
I could speak, yeah. Okay, so the client is actually renting out the basement and the upper areas for him. So that's kind of why he wanted that deck there on that level. So that's about as much as it's not my property, right? I'm just...
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Just for clarification, the question was, can it be ripped out?
Can that deck be ripped out?
Can it be ripped out?
Oh, yes. I would like to myself. I would like to rip it out, yeah. Yeah. Yes, it can be ripped out.
Thank you. And it's good to have the context that somebody wants it, but Ms. Holman's question was pretty clear. Does anyone else have Ms. McCauley?
Yes, I have a question to the applicant. Is there any access from the house to the deck? It looks to me like you've got two windows up there, but there's no access from the house.
Yeah, so currently, no, there is no access. So what we're proposing is that one of those rear windows will become a door. It's on the drawing, yeah. But currently, there is no access. You would have to kind of climb up there to get up there.
Okay, thank you. So you'll actually make the situation worse with access from the house to the deck.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley, and thank you, sir, for your response. I remember this file when you were before us before, and it was a good presentation. And correct me if I'm wrong, you reiterated today what you stated then, that you kind of inherited this problem as the man being hired to fix this whole issue.
Yeah.
Okay, that's to be commended, and I remembered that because I was appreciative of your presentation then. I'm going to say this about this file. I'm going to add some comments now. This is one of the files that I have a problem with in our package. Okay, so if we're going to go into committee, I guess I'll give my comments then. Is there any more questions for anyone here? No. Okay, so I'm thinking we should move into committee now. Okay, I'm getting the nod of approval. We're going into committee. So now that we're in committee, I'll add my comments. Okay. I have a problem with the file because of this balcony.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a good job overall, but the balcony does not meet the 4 test rule to me, in my interpretation of it. It's not appropriate. It's sitting right on the fence. And I think in light of the question Ms. Ullman asked, can it be ripped out? I would not approve this balcony for that reason. I think it should be taken off. Thank you.
I'll just add that, again, your comments say that you've tried to talk to the owner that this is not really appropriate. I can't in good conscience support this variance. I think it actually looks, again, like I said earlier, it looks like it's actually slightly over past the fence. I would suggest they do a redesign and put some huge window or something back there, but to have a deck on the property line is just is inappropriate and makes no sense. And I would also suggest that perhaps the property owner come up with something creative, space that perhaps he can co-share at grade with his tenant. at the back or maybe on the side. I don't know if there's a better spot for it, but you're part of the project. Maybe you can come up with an alternate design. And so those, I can't support this variance.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Thank you. I too have a problem with this, deck. I note that the house is only 2.12 meters from the rear property line. That's where it was built. And so what this application is doing is actually making the whole situation worse by putting a deck up here. I will not support this application.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Hu.
Through the chair, I'm in the same position. I'm not in a position to support this application. I do want to make a note that the bylaws requirement is 7.5 meters. The previous approval changed that to 2.12 meters, and now this is seeking a further variance to 0.28 meters, which is overhanging directly above the neighbor's backyard. I don't see how this is appropriate, and I don't see how this is minor. Therefore, I'm also not in a position to support this application. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The committee has spoken. Does anyone have a motion they'd like to put forward at this time?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I would move refusal of the application for all the reasons I outlined earlier. It does not meet the 4 tests, and I can't support this. So it's a motion to refuse.
Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
I will second that motion to refuse.
We have a motion to refuse by Ms. Ullman, and we have it seconded by Ms. McCauley. All those in favor? And the motion's carried, and it is not approved.
Okay. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you. Kind of made my life a bit easier. I could get out of there faster.
Sir, you're a delight. Have a good day. Moving to item number 3. Just to check in preliminarily here, I'm under the impression we have 4 speakers. Can that be confirmed?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we have a speaker here in person as well, and we have the agent on the line, and we have a few other speakers registered. Some are online, some are not.
Thank you. Will the speaker raise their hand? Sir, can you come down? Any speakers on this matter and just sort of get yourselves in the queue, get ready? I'm going to go through my spiel quickly here. This is, for the record, item number 3 for 262 Centennial Road. And the purpose of the application is to convert a garage into a garden suite. This application was previously deferred with this committee January 16th, 2025. This variance is 1, and it involves the maximum lot coverage. So, do we have the agent or applicant on the line?
Yeah, I'm the agent, Raj Balasundaram, from number 14 Rivermere Court, Brampton, Ontario. If you want any brief introduction about this variant, I can give you briefly.
Thank you, sir. Hold on a minute. I'll get back to you. I'm going to look at the committee. Does anyone have a request for a presentation or any questions at this point? Ms. McCauley?
Yes, could I have a brief presentation on how the existing situation is? I see an existing garage and an existing building. Is that what we've got, and it's going to be converted to a garden suite? If the
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, madam. This is an existing one. That's a really concern. We gone for a minor variance because we cannot demolish existing building. This is unfortunately this is existing from 1978, if I'm not wrong. So this is actually 93.87 square meter. So by law 156.7.60.70, this is says 60 square meter is the maximum for the second unit, I mean garden suite. In the meantime, if I'm not wrong, November 20th last year, they amended the regulation, additional unit regulation, ORG 462/24. By that, I think they are allowing at up to 45% of the load coverage into the garden suite and total coverage for the building. So if that is in effect, then we are not need to go for a minor variance, but we applied for the minor variance back in October. So that's why we are moving forward. But this is completely existing building. We cannot demolish, we cannot convert to anything else. That's the reason we are asking consider this one as an exceptional case.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else on committee have a question, comment?
Through the chair, just for the record, in terms of materials received, there was 4 letters of objection received for this file.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Noted. Oh, Ms. Holman, go ahead.
So just to confirm, there's no exterior changes then? Everything staying the same on the outside?
Yeah, there's no changes or no modification on the existing building other than the interior works.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holman. Thank you, sir. We're going to hear now from the gentleman who's before us in chambers. Sir, can you state your full name and address?
My name is Steve Copley. I'm at 264 Centennial Road, one house north of 262.
Thank you, sir. You have up to 5 minutes. Go ahead.
262 Centennial was purchased in May of 2017 and was turned into a rental by the, are we speaking here? Whoop, there we go. Is that better? Sorry. 262 Centennial was purchased in May of 2017, was turned into a rental by the new owner we know as Ruben. A basement apartment was added and rented out soon after, and I don't know if there was building permits for that. We saw no notification or anything like that. I believe it was an Airbnb with different people coming and going. This was repeated until lately. Now there is 4 to 7 people living upstairs in the house and 3 to 4 people downstairs in the house. And that's 7 to 10 people, not including this new garden suite on that land already. During COVID, Ruben built a 1-bedroom garden suite in the back half of the garage. And again, I don't remember any notice or permits for that. Now he's calling it an existing garden suite and he wants to renovate that up. One concern is the sewage and storm for that. Is it up to code from back in the garage to the front? The 3-bedroom garden suite will add even more people on that property. The garden suite will add a mother, father, and possibly 2 to 4 kids. And that's 6 more people and already 10 people in the house. If I wanted to sell my house in the future, who's going to buy it with 9 bedrooms next door? That will drive my house value down. I realize he's doing this to make money for a rental. And the last few years, 3 of the 5 bungalows have turned into rentals. I don't know my neighbors anymore because they keep coming and going. So from the corner of Lawson Road and Centennial, there's 3 rentals in the first 5 lots. And the rental at 268 is the huge problem. Police have been there numerous times for domestic disputes and fighting. Jennifer McKelvey, the deputy mayor, has been called many times for messy yards, overgrown weeds, and illegal parking at 268. We just don't want 262 turning into one of those with an absentee landlord. I know there's a shortage of rentals in Toronto, but that shouldn't lower the standards and safety in the housing and the detriment to our neighborhood. This addition is almost as big as the original house. And should not allow the expansion of that garden suite. Please let the record show that we are firmly against this application and of the existing, to expand the existing garden suite, assuming that was permitted in the first place. But I'm not opposed to Ruben using the existing one bedroom that's there as a garden suite. I mean, that was the purpose, you know, maybe to put your mother or father back there or something, but he's using this as a pack-em-in rental in a one family dwelling neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have speakers also? Yes, we do. I think at this juncture, we'll first go back to the applicant and ask him if he'd like to Thank you, Ms. Ullman. Does anyone on committee have any questions for this gentleman before us? Let's go to any speakers. Sir, have a seat, and we'll just go to the speakers online for a moment. Thanks, Ms. McCauley. We're going to back up again, folks. My apologies. I couldn't see the other gentleman there. I apologize. Sir, are you going to speak to this issue too? Oh, you're not? Okay. Let's go back to the online callers. What is your full name and your address?
Sorry, are you referring to me? I'm having some audio issues online.
Through the chair, Anthony, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, it's Anthony Stanislaw.
Yes, please provide
It's
your
Anthony
address.
Stanislaw, 35 Cherrydale Court, Scarborough, Ontario.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
All right, so I've been living on the property for 14 years, heavily invested in this neighborhood. My family goes to St. Joe's Church. My kids go to St. Brendan's, which is a block away. I'm the president of the tennis court that's local 2 blocks away. All that to say, heavily invested in this neighborhood, but I'm seeing this neighborhood significantly change, as Steve mentioned, because of the renters that are coming in. There are already several families, from what I see, living on this property. I see 4 to 6 cars on the driveway on a regular basis. Adding additional families to this is just going to compound. And again, Steve made a good point about drainage, sewage being an additional compounding issue. I, too, have made a significant investment in this property. When I bought this property, it was listed, this neighborhood was listed as single family zone property. So now this is going to negatively impact my property because my front yard is visible to this huge structure that's been put up. And again, to Steve's point earlier, I don't think there's any permits that were pulled to create this huge structure that, frankly, is an eyesore in my opinion. I also want to bring attention to 268 Centennial, which is a few doors down from this property. There's about 4 to 5 families living in that property. There's an RV in the back that people are living in. So it's a complete mess. And I just don't want this to turn into, this property to turn into something similar. So if you look at this property and 268, now my entire family is surrounded by about 10 to 12 families, if this gets approved, of all renters that do not pay any respect to the neighborhood. They don't shovel their driveway. I've had instances where rocks were thrown from 268 backyard into my backyard when we're having family gatherings, making loud noise. It just isn't fair, and I completely do not agree with this motion to pass this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone on the panel have any questions for this gentleman? Go ahead, Ms. Holman.
Hello, sir. When, do you know when this, it looks like an addition component was, are you saying that was built recently to the garage?
Honestly, I don't know when it was put up. I just noticed it. Again, this is my front yard, so I don't look into that very often. So I don't know when it was built. I just recall one day looking over, and there's an air conditioning unit now in the back. And you know, there's a vent for a furnace. Like, it just slowly crept up, and then all of a sudden now there's this huge structure that's ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to ascertain if it was built without a permit, and then that this variance in essence would legalize it. But anyway, you don't remember when it was added. Okay, thank you.
I don't.
Thank you, sir. Do we have another speaker? Okay, maybe we could put them on, please. Hello?
Hello?
Sir, could you please give your full name and your address?
Yeah, it's Steve Salt, and my wife is right beside me, Susan Holden, which was a second registrant who you may not find there. Anyway, she's sitting beside me for the same thing. We're at 39 Cherrydale. We're 2 doors down from Anthony on Cherrydale Court, and well aware of the same situation. We have the very similar concerns, and we documented that in the letter to you guys.
Oh, okay, sir, hold on a second. Let's just hold on, folks, for a minute. I just needed, for the record, your full name and your address. And can we start the clock? And you guys can speak now. Thank you.
Okay, it's Steve Salt and Susan Holden, 39 Cherrydale Court. So I would like to know, what is the zoning bylaw for our neighborhood? Is it not zoned for single family, or is it zoned for multi-rental? Because I don't understand why all the properties in our neighborhood that we moved, we've been residents here since 1992. So we are longtime committed residents. We have no plans of ever leaving. This is our neighborhood, our home, our family, our neighbors that we know very well. And we have had in past a lovely community with no problems. And ever since 268 Centennial turned into a multi-rental unit, we've had nothing but problems with overgrown property not being taken care of, with loud noise, loud parties. I personally have had to call the police on that property to complain multiple times in a single day. So renters, or the people that we've had, are not behaving neighborly like you would want in a neighborhood with families with young children. Anthony has 3 young children growing up in this neighborhood. We raised our children in this neighborhood, and now they're young adults. And we would like to keep our neighborhood safe and quiet and respectful, and a lovely community to live in, which is why we chose this neighborhood, because of the community, the neighborhood, and the schools, and the access to the GO train. So I would like to understand, why is this being allowed to happen, that properties are being allowed to be sold as rental units, when this is not what we were aware of when we bought into this neighborhood?
I'm gonna stop you there. That's a great question. Let's stop the clock, please, staff, for these speakers. Let's stop the clock. Let's freeze it. I'm gonna look to the wise and knowing Deputy Treasurer and ask if there is some sort of answer in this regard the city can provide this question.
Through the chair to the speaker. So the zoning, those are questions for the building department. Your zoning of your lot, it would still permit multi-units across the city. That is permitted. What is before you today is the one minor variance with respect to ancillary building and the garden suite and the lot coverage. So to the speaker, we suggest that you use your time to speak to that variance and how this particular variance impacts you. What's before the committee today is this one variance, and they will be deciding based on the 4 tests of a minor variance as per the Planning Act.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. To the speakers standing by, would you like to continue?
Yes, please.
Please do.
Okay, so there, as was just stated, there is an existing house on that property and then a separate unit, which is a garage. That garage is now the whole garden suite concept is, to me, a bit of a joke. It's turning into a 3-bedroom kitchen, 2-bathroom, living room house on a property where there's already a house. I don't consider that, as a layman neighbor, as a minor variance.
Plus the size is going from 60 square meters, which is already a large structure, to over 93 square meters. How is increasing the size by over 50% considered a minor variance?
Would you like to, you still have 2 minutes left, or are you wrapping up?
I guess we'll just wrap up saying we are definitely vehemently against approval of this application.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your comments. The committee does hear you, and we understand the frustration in your voices. I'm not going to speak to this until we're in committee, but at this moment, I'll just look around the panel and ask, does anybody have any questions of these speakers? Okay. We're going to look at the Deputy Treasurer and ask, is there any other speakers online? Oh, no, there's not. To the agent, would you like to rebut? You have up to 5 minutes. You don't have to use it all, but you can speak to what you've heard. Would you like to?
Sorry, it was unmuted, unlocked. Okay, I respect your comments, and dear panels, as Deputy Treasurer explained, this minor variance only record of the size. I here would like to answer their concern, like if the size is gone up, the concern is the more people will occupy in the garden suite. As per the building code, in terms of dwelling, is the occupancy is not based on the size. Occupancy is based on the number of bedrooms. Here, we are not increasing number of bedrooms. It's only 3 bedroom. We saw is the maximum occupancy lot is 6 people. I don't think the 6 people will change a lot in the community in terms of the density. Other than that, everything else is legal on this declaration of second unit. This is my explanation for my dear neighbors.
Thank you, sir. Panel, any? Yes, go ahead, Mr. Hu.
Thank you, Chair. Can the applicant advise what is the percentage of lot coverage that is currently covered by buildings and structures?
Give me a second. I see here is the it's 22.9% is the coverage.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Ms. McCauley.
Thank you again to the applicant. I would like to know whether, what is the existing use of this building? Are they using the garage plus a garden suite, or is the garage empty?
Actually, it's a part of the garage. It's garage, and there's a existing. It's not a garden suite. It's like their own personal use. A bedroom is there on the backside of the garden suite, and that house owner is confirming that it's existing from a long time back in 1978.
And are you using the garage at all for the parking of cars?
No, they are not for a long time. They're you can see this site plan. They have a huge driveway, so they are not using this garage for any parking purpose. Now they're using as some stuff storage in there. I've been to the site and I saw that they're using as a storage there. So at this point, as per the zoning bylaw, they are allowed to do that. So that's the reason they wanted to convert as a garden suite.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions from committee? No? Okay. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Holman.
Is the owner contemplating to rent this out as one unit, or is he going to split it into two?
No, he can give a consent letter to the city that this is going to be a one use. And I heard that they have a concern on that main property also, the rental. But the house owner is living in Richmond Hill, and this is another property. Their kids is studying in Scarborough campus, UFT, and that's the reason they are using that main unit. And their kids is living there. I witnessed them in the main unit.
Thank you.
I'm just going to check in. Have we heard from everybody here present today? Nobody else? Okay. I think this would be a good time to take this matter into committee. Who would like to start us off? Oh, Ms. McCauley, go ahead.
Okay. I'm conflicted on this one. We've got a building already built. It's already partially used as accommodation. He's not using the garage at all. What he wants to do is convert the garage into a garden suite. The garden suite seems to be in line with the city's provisions in terms of size, in that it's smaller than the building on the dwelling on the site, but it is oversized in terms of maximum size of a garden suite. Maximum size is 60 meters, and this is 93 square meters. So it's considerably oversized. If we refuse the application, presumably he can go back to using the garage for his storage and use the other half for a garden suite. It's not really going to change any of the issues that the neighbors have. Basically, their issues is the upkeep of the property. So, as I said, I'm conflicted on this, so I'd like to hear what other committee members have to say.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Go ahead, Mr. Hu.
Thank you, Chair. I acknowledge the concerns raised by the neighborhood here today. I do acknowledge the issues when you have a lot of renters in the neighborhood and the issues it can cause. But I do have to keep in mind that the focus of the issue today is a single variance. The matter of the fact is there's now OREG 462-24. This regulation came into effect November 20th, 2024. This regulation effectively permits up to 45% of the lot to be covered by additional units and structures. We're hearing from the applicant here today that, you know, the plan that it has on this lot only covers 22.9%. This is way below the 45% permitted by the regulation. Now, the regulation came into force, again, on November 20th, 2024. So based on that, I think the applicant has the legal right to make this variance. So I'm leaning towards supporting this application.
Thank you, Mr. Hu. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My colleague has already explained quite a bit about this variance lot coverage. My problem has always been build first and come for the variance before the committee. And that makes us a very difficult task, what to do. The thing is existing, as my colleague has said, is already occupied. And it is a garden suite or whatever it is. Now, what to do in my mind, I think it is not easy, but to say that the ancillary building coverage of 93.87 meters square as against the permissible 60 meters square is quite a bit. Now what to do? I'm confused, but at the same time, since it is existing and it is away from the building, it is no comments from the staff, so I will be in favor of this particular variance.
Thank you. Ms. Ullman.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I'm very sympathetic to the concerns raised by the residents. However, to Mr. Hu's point, the city has made a lot of changes over the last number of years that are having significant impacts to neighborhoods across the city. They want intensification, and the fact that there's no change to the structure, there are two more bedrooms being added from what's there already. I too, you know, feel that based on what our committee looks at, which is strictly the planning merits and the variance before us, that we, you know, we should be looking at supporting this application. I understand the emotional issues. I understand the problems with tenants. I think a lot of us live that in our own lives, including myself, and it's no fun. So I really understand your frustration. But the provincial policies and the municipal policies are taking us into directions of intensifications that are affecting neighborhoods more and more. So I too will be supporting the application.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman. Sir, I'm just going to make sure I'm clear with you because I thought you were going to speak a moment ago. We're in committee now, so we can't entertain anybody else talking. It's just going to be the committee up here for now. Just want you to know that. No fear or favor. You know, I think at this point we should ask for a motion from this committee. We've aired it out pretty thoroughly. And while sometimes we don't like how things have developed, the rules and regulations provincially and municipally, as Ms. Ullman's pointed out, do tie us to certain decision-making processes. So I'm going to look to the committee now. Does anyone have a motion to put forward? Go ahead, Mr. Hu.
Thank you, Chair. I move approval of this application based on what was stated by the committee earlier. And I do want to make a note specifically of section 5 subsection 5.1 of OREG 462-24, which permits up to 45% of the lot to be covered by buildings and structures. Based on that, I move approval of this application.
We have a motion to approve from Mr. Hu. Ms. Ullman. And we have.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. We have a second from Ms. Ullman. All those in favor? Motion is unanimous. Thank you. We'll move to item number 4 now. just some preliminary questions. Are you here for item number 4, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. What will be your status in this?
I'm the agent.
Okay.
I'm talking on behalf of the owner. May I
Okay,
address?
we'll get to that formally. I just wanted to know for my house cleaning.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. We're on item number 4. This is 128 Ridgewood Road, Toronto. There is to enclose an existing balcony and construct a new rear yard balcony. There are 2 variances dealing, the first one with the setback, and also the second one is also the setback. Just to check with staff, do we have a speaker available for this or any?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we did have a speaker registered from 72 Baronial Court who has now indicated to staff that they are no longer interested in participating. So we only have the agent here in person.
Very good. Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Sir, you're allotted 5 minutes. Please state before you start your full name, your status again formally, and of course your address. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Hamid Kashani. I'm the agent talking on behalf of the owner. And my address is 120 West Beaver Creek Road, Richmond Hill, unit number 24, HK Architects. We are here basically based on 2 items that referred us to this committee by City of North York, of Toronto. I just want to go over this very briefly, if I may, through my architectural set. If we can go to A50, which is our original survey, we have 2 items here on the list. One is the existing balcony that is proposed to be enclosed. The area is approximately 220 square feet. This is an existing balcony that we want to include into the body of an existing house, which is over 80 years old. If you can kindly blow, zoom in to the area that shows the balcony, the existing survey calls it up as deck, as the rear deck. This is not our site, is it? Is this our A50 architectural set? Anyway, you can go back to that one also. It's the same thing. I just wanted to show you that the rear setback from this balcony, which is existing, yeah, that's just the same thing essentially. So this is the, if you look at this existing survey, which shows the existing deck, that's exactly what it is in the center. And the line that defines this deck has the setback to the rear yard as 39.03, and the proposed is 39.03. We are not actually proposing any encroachments into the rear setback. And if you can kindly go to A100, our site plan. Our site plan shows the extent of our site. Yes, we have shown this 220 square feet as dotted line. And you can see that setback is 39.09. And then the conservation asked us to highlight the top of the bank, and they inspected the site, they inspected the drawings and asked us for a geotechnical report, and based on that, they granted us the permit, despite the fact that this balcony, the existing historical balcony, is 3.44 from top of the bank. They deemed it safe, and they granted the permit. So we are not essentially doing anything other than enclosing a historic balcony into a historical home, essentially. The walls are the same. We are not including any, we are not actually adding anything to the footprint of this house. The only thing that we are actually proposing, if you can kindly go to A210, which is our ground floor, proposed ground floor. yes. Our ground floor, yes. What we are actually, the dotted line shows the extent of this 220 that we want to include inside the house. But you will see the balcony that we are proposing outside, which is a cantilevered balcony, about 1.2 meter wide, 4 feet wide balcony. And this is what we are actually proposing. It's 1.2 by, 4 feet by 18 feet 4 inches, total of 6.7 meters square is what we are actually proposing. But it is not, like we are not putting any footing for this or footprint. This is cantilevering off of an existing historical wall. And these are two minor variances that has been listed here, and we would like to ask the relief for. I would like to make a note before I finish about two typo mistakes on the Committee of Adjustment application, page 2. On the description of proposal, the width of this proposed balcony is noted as 2.1, whereas it is 1.2. So it's a typo mistake. And then on building setbacks, rear lot line, actually existing and proposed are both 39.03 because it is based on the existing balcony that we are proposing to enclose. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that presentation. Can you just stand by a minute while we speak with the Deputy Treasurer? Go ahead, Deputy.
Through the chair to the agent, can you please clarify, are you saying that there's an error in your public hearing notice in one of the variances?
Not in the notice. On the application that we filed for Committee of Adjustment, application.
Do you mean just your plan? If
Yeah.
you could please look at the screen and look at your public hearing notice.
On page.
Those variances that are on the screen on your notice, are those correct or are you
Yeah,
amending?
actually, yes, actually, the third point that you're noting, actually, I have the zoning notice, by the way.
Okay,
The
not
one-
your
the
zoning
one-
notice, your public hearing
Yeah.
notice. We have it on the screen.
Okay.
This is what was mailed out.
Mm-hmm.
Please look at your variances and confirm if they are correct or not.
Yes, the 2.26 is the proximity to the proposed balcony, the cantilevered balcony, to the contour line, to the existing contour line. So the number 2 is actually 3.44 from the existing balcony to the top of the bank. So this is not something that we propose, it is existing. We are not proposing a 3.4 meter from the contour.
Through the
It is
chair,
already there.
these variances were noted on your review. So are you disagreeing with these variances or are you proceeding today with
It's
these
just the
variances?
wording. It says the proposed setback from stable top of bank is 3.4. I'm saying the existing setback from the existing top of the bank is 3.44.
Can I just
We
weigh-
are not proposing
Sir,
that balcony.
Sir, can I just weigh in here?
Sir.
The purpose says it's to enclose the existing balcony. So we know it's existing, but the variances relate to the enclosure,
That's
which
okay.
is new, and therefore it's proposed.
Thank you very much for
Okay.
clarity. I just had this for the
Thank you,
wording. of it.
Deputy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Holman. Mr. Khan, I believe you have a question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir, I would like to ask, first of all, the question that I have has already been addressed by the applicant. Sir, these two variances, and number 1 is existing as I understand. And number 2, you are asking new balcony.
Yes.
Now, these are from, the second one is 3.44 meter from, and requirement is 10 meters.
It is
Now, this has
existing.
been always a very disputable or debatable point. 10 meters is the stable from the stable bank.
That's correct, sir.
Now you are asking, my decision will be based on only one thing: how long the building has been and how long this existing structure has been.
To the best of my knowledge, this house is over 80 years old.
How many?
And I think it's over 80 years old. This house is over 80 years old. That balcony is in place for the same amount of time. I think this 3.44 has been existed for at least 6, 7, 8 decades. It's not something that we are proposing. We are just enclosing it.
So both are old then.
Sorry?
Both balconies are old.
It is old, yes. What we are proposing is the cantilevered deck off of the kitchen, which is 1.2 by about 6 meter wide. That is what we are proposing, and that's cantilevered. It doesn't have any footprints.
Thank
The
you, sir.
only thing that we are actually proposing is that the rest is just enclosing, and this deck is already confined by 2 walls. The only 2 walls left, which has a parapet of 1 meter high, we just put glass on that and enclose it. That's all we do.
Thank you, sir. I think we're good. And we have lost, as was mentioned earlier, the speaker. So I'm going to look to the committee. Now. Oh, Ms. McCauley, go ahead.
Any other speakers? Okay. I'm going to propose a motion. The application is a setback from the stable top of bank of 2.26 meters. I see from the correspondent that he has already communicated with TRCA, and that permit has been issued in July that would recognize this. We have no concerns with, I have no concerns with this application. It is subject to urban forestry conditions.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Do we have a second to that motion? Mr. Hu?
I second the motion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we just have to hear that little bit. Thank you. So we have a motion by Ms. McCauley to approve with urban forestry condition. We've been seconded by Mr. Hu. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
And through the chair, for the record, that's urban forestry condition number 2.
Thank you very much. We're now going to move to item number 5. Thank you. Okay, item number 5 is for 66 GLEN, WATFORD Drive, Toronto. It's to demolish the existing dwelling and to construct a new story detached dwelling. This was cross-referenced with a previous minor variance to the application on this property. There's 2 variances. One is the permitted building length, and the other is also the permitted building depth. Do we have the agent or applicant available? We do.
Yes, through you, the chair.
Good morning. I'm here. My name is Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. Just hold on a second.
Through the chair, there are no registered speakers for this item.
Thanks, Deputy. We want to give you a chance to voice yourself. Nicole, can you give your full name and your address and your status, please, in this application?
Of course. My name is Nicole Parr. I'm the agent on behalf of the owner, and my address is 22 Blue Forest Drive, Toronto, Ontario, M3H4W2.
Now, before you give us a presentation, I'm going to canvass the committee and just look to my left and right. Do we need a presentation? Does anybody have questions?
No, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any questions.
Nicole, I don't know if you could see that, but the committee is pretty satisfied with this package and does not require a presentation or have any questions of you. What do you say to that?
I say that's fantastic. Makes my day.
Okay, so moving right along then, I think we're going to go into committee, so sit tight. Go ahead, Ms. Ullman.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think that this application meets the 4 tests. It fits within the context of the neighborhood, and I would move approval of this application, including forestry condition number 3.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman. Do we have Mr. Khan? Go ahead.
Sir, I will second the motion.
We have a motion to approve by Ms. Ullman, subject to urban forestry clause 3. We have been seconded by Mr. Khan. All those in favor? That is a Unanimous. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Deputy Chair, we'd like to take as a committee a 10-minute break.
Through the chair. Okay, everyone please unmute your microphones and turn off your video. We will recommence in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Deputy Chair, and welcome back, everyone. We've just come back from our break, and we're on item number 8, which is 2008 Pharmacy Avenue, Toronto. That is to construct a new bike shed on an existing concrete slab, and there are 3 variances. Do we have the agent or applicant available today? Yes, we do. Good. Do we have any speakers in person for this matter here today? No. Do we have any speakers online for this matter?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no speakers registered for this item.
Thank you very much. I will note for the record that there will be discussed today and is in the package urban forestry conditions, and there's also 1 letter of concern. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Canvassing the committee right now, do we need any of us a presentation or questions?
I don't need a presentation, Mr.
And looking across, thank you, Ms. Holman, looking across at everyone, we do not need a presentation or questions. Is the agent or applicant there?
Yes, hello. Here is André Fabian from Susan Spiegel Architects. I'm an agent on behalf of my client, Toronto Community Health.
Thank you, sir. I don't know if you heard, and make sure when you speak up because you sound a little soft to my old ears. Could you please note that we don't require a presentation. We don't have any questions. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, I could have a quick presentation. I also would like to read a quick insight into the history of the project, which is relevant to the letter we obtained.
Just to be clear, we're quite satisfied with the package you've presented. In fact, we're very happy with it. So would you still like to make a presentation, or would you let us go into committee?
That's fine then.
Okay, we're going to go into committee then. I'm going to look to Ms. Holman to start us off. Do you have any?
No, Mr. Chairman, I have no concerns with this application. I believe it's a TCHC building. I think it makes sense, especially with the city moving toward more bike use and encouraging it. So I would move approval of the application as I feel it meets the 4 tests.
Thank you, Ms. Holman. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
I will second that motion for approval.
Through the chair, there is an urban forestry condition, number 2.
Yeah, number 2. Sorry about that. So that's including forestry number 2.
Thank you.
So we have a motion to approve by Ms. Ullman, and including urban forestry condition number 2, seconded by Ms. McCauley. All those in favor? That is unanimous and approved. Thank you. Good day, sir. We'll move to item number 9. This is for 31-85 Gilder Drive, Toronto, to construct 2 new garbage enclosures and the existing residential apartment buildings. This is also noted as a revised public hearing notice is being issued to correct the address and purpose of application. There are 2 variances. Do we have the agent or applicant online? We do. Do we have any? Thank you. Hold on, please. Do we have any speakers present here?
Through the chair, we have no registered speakers for this item.
Excuse me. I'm a registered speaker.
You're the agent, correct?
Yes.
Yes, when we say registered speakers, we're referring to the public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. I'm just going to canvass the, actually, agent, can you give us your full name and your address, please?
Yes, it's Lisa Rappaport. I'm the partner of Plant Architect, address 317 Adelaide Street West, and I'm the agent for TCHC for this file.
Thank you very much. If you could just hold on a minute, I'm going to canvass the committee. Does anyone wish a presentation? Ms. McCauley.
I don't wish a presentation. It seems like a very simple application to me. I'd be prepared to put forth a motion if everyone else is in agreement.
I would agree with that, Mr. Chairman. I think it's a TCHC building. It's very straightforward.
As the agent, I hope you did hear that. This committee seems very satisfied with the package that we have before us, and we have no questions and don't feel we need a presentation. What say you on this?
I say yay.
Okay, we're going to go into committee, so you can just hear where we go with this. Now that we're in committee, would anyone like to proceed? Mr. Khan, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move that this application with one variance, straightforward, minor, be approved.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Do we have anyone that would like, Ms. McCauley?
I will second that motion.
We have Mr. Khan move to approve this with conditions of, no, sorry, there's no conditions, my apologies. And it's seconded by Mr. Khan. All those in favor?
No, proposed by me, seconded by.
Proposed by Mr. Khan, seconded by Ms. McCauley. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Approved. We'll move to item 9. Item 10. Item 10 is for 41 Pine Ridge Drive, Toronto. To construct, the purpose of the application is to construct a front and second-story addition and new front porch to the existing dwelling. There are 8 variances in this application. Do we have the agent or applicant available?
Through the chair, we have the agent online, and there are no registered speakers for this item.
To the agent, can you identify your full name and address, please?
Morning, Mr. Chair, fellow committee members. My name is Shane Edwards from Hughes Design Studio at 1A Conestoga Drive, Unit 301, Brampton, Ontario.
Just hold on, sir, and let me canvass this committee. Do we need a presentation or any, and I'm getting the nods that we do not need a presentation or questions. Are you okay with that as the agent, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I am available to answer any questions that the committee may have.
It appears we have none, sir, so sit tight. We're going to go into committee now. Does anyone have a motion they'd like to put forth on this item?
Sure.
Go ahead, Ms.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think that this application fits within the context of the neighborhood. I don't feel that these variances are egregious. I feel they meet the 4 tests, so I would move approval, and I don't believe there's any conditions.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman. There are no conditions on this. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would second the motion.
Ms. Ullman moved to approve. There are no conditions. Mr. Khan seconded. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Approved. We move to item number 11. Item 11, 430 Guildwood Parkway, Toronto. To construct a new 2-story detached dwelling with front and rear covered porches. Also, an ancillary structure, cabana, an in-ground swimming pool in the rear yard. The existing 1-story detached dwelling will be demolished. There are 5 variances. We have community planning conditions of approval and urban forestry. And I note in the files that we have 1 registered speaker. Is that correct, Deputy?
Through the chair, yes, we have that speaker here in person and the agent online.
Good morning, sir. How are you? If you want, you can make your way down to the podium and we'll have you queue. As the agent online. Okay, Mr. Agent or Miss Agent, can you please identify yourself with your full name and your address?
Absolutely, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, it's Peter Giordano, David Small Designs, 1405 Cornwall Road in Oakville. We're the authorized agents and applicant.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me just canvass the committee here. Do we need a presentation or do we have any questions?
I just wanted to make a comment that I'm not sure because we have a speaker here, if they're in opposition, if we need a presentation, but if we do, I just want to note that the height variance is due to the chimney and that without the cabana, the floor space index actually complies. So I think, I'm not sure if you want to check if the speaker's in opposition first.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman. That's good advice. Sir, will you be opposing this application?
No, I will not.
Okay, sit tight. Thank you for that.
So in that case, I would suggest that maybe the speaker is speaking in favor if he wants to speak first, and then I don't need a presentation from the applicant. I don't know about anybody else.
So canvassing the committee, we are good, and we're going to reverse things up. So agent, sit tight. Mr. Speaker, you can take the podium. You have up to 5 minutes. You don't have to use it all, but that's what you have allotted to you. Please go ahead, sir. And your full name and address.
Yes, here you are. My name is Anthony Jones. I live at 435 Guildwood Parkway, which is directly opposite 430 Guildwood Parkway. If I may, I just have one question of the agent. They're tearing down a rather charming existing mid-century modern house, which has been recently renovated with rather nice landscaping and cladding on the front, and replacing it with a very large glass modern house with a much larger footprint. I'm just wondering why.
Okay, sir. Let's hear from the agent. Let's go ahead, sir. Online.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, we work with all of our clients very thoroughly. They come to us with inspiration images. This isn't something that we decided was the ultimate solution for the property. This is what the clients wanted based on their likes and their dislikes, and far be it from us to divert them in a different direction. This is a design that they wanted.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Speaker. Do you have?
Thank you for that answer. I suspect, though, that the family is going to increase into a multi-generational family, perhaps, to actually which I have no objection whatsoever. I just wondered why they were doing it. So with that answer, I am satisfied, and I have no complaint or objection.
Thank you, sir, for your civic involvement. Mr. Agent, I don't think you have any further questions, but I'm turning to my left, and Ms. McCauley may have a question, so.
I don't have a question so much as a comment, especially to the speaker. Yes, I did take a good look at this application, and I know the character of Guildwood Parkway in this area. So, question: you're going from one style to a second style, but a closer look at a lot of the information that we've got here is that they are looking at doing a lot of environmental, green roof, solar panels, a number of things that are good for the environment. So overall, change of design, but better for the environment. I also note that community planning are suggesting that they add the condition that that's be built in accordance with the site plan and the cabanas, so that what we see is what actually gets built. Thank you. Those are my comments.
And thank you, Ms. McCauley. They were very good comments. To the agent, hold on a moment. I'm just going to ask the committee, does anybody have any questions of the speaker or the agent? Okay, well, we're going to go into committee now. Who would like to speak first? Ms. McCauley.
I propose approval of this application subject to the community planning condition that built in accordance with the site plan for both the dwelling and the cabana, and subject to urban forestry conditions.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Mr. Khan, go ahead.
I will second the motion.
Motion to approve by Ms. McCauley with conditions of urban forestry community.
I second the motion.
Yes, I'm urban forestry conditions number 3, and seconded by Mr. Khan. All those in favor? That's unanimous. Motion passed. Thank you. Thank you for coming, sir. Okay, we're going to move to the next item, which will be item 12. 1 second. Item 12 is 25 Queensbury Avenue, Toronto. Purpose of the application is to alter an existing two-story detached dwelling with a secondary suite, interior renovations, new insulation, cladding, rear deck, and to ensure closing the front porch, eliminating one of the two existing parking spaces. There are 8 variances. Is the agent or applicant available?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent, and we have no registered speakers for this item.
We certainly don't. We do have 4 letters of support, and noted in the package, no conditions from any of city departments. Your full name, sir, and your address as the agent.
Eric Mark, 25 Queensbury Avenue. I'm the applicant and owner.
Thank you, sir. Canvassing the committee, do we need a presentation? Do we need questions? Sir, we do not need a presentation, and we have no questions. We're pretty content with your package. So would you like us to proceed?
I think I'm obligated to say I'm a registered professional planner acting on my own behalf. That's it.
Okay, if we have a question, we'll come back to you. We're going to go into committee now, sir. Okay. So we're in committee. Who would like, Mr. Khan, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir. My question is about variance number 7 and 8. Number 7 is front soft landscape area is less, and variance number 8 is you're reducing the parking from 2 to 1. Could you kindly explain?
Happy to. Members of the committee, so the house is an existing condition from construction in 1970. I'll add, this was my grandparents' home. It's been a family home. They owned it for 50 years before I purchased it in 2020. So I'm the 3rd generation of my family to live in this home. There's currently two parking spaces in the attached garage and the almost entirety of the front yard is driveway. So there's 4 spaces for driveway parking in addition to 2 garage spaces. We're proposing to enclose one of the garage doors so that we can reorient the front stairs to the front door. Currently, it's a very awkward jut out that makes moving in and out, especially with any large items, very inconvenient. So we're proposing to enclose one garage and part of the driveway to add some lawn. There's currently no lawn. And then reorient the front stair to make it more accessible and more convenient.
This reduction of one parking, would it cause street parking or parking on the road?
No, we'll continue to have 1 garage space and 3 driveway spaces for a total of 4 spaces.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else have any questions? There doesn't appear to be any questions, and we are now going to go in committee. Do I have a motion? Go ahead, Ms. Holman.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think that the variances proposed are reasonable. The cover letter explained everything in detail, and I believe it meets the 4 tests. Therefore, I would move approval of the application with no conditions.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Who?
Through you, Chair, I move to second this application.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve by Ms. Ullman, and we have a second by Mr. Ho. Thank you. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Motion moved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are now item 13, and this is 994B Kitchener Road, Toronto, to construct a new two-story detached dwelling. Consent and minor variance applications were cross-referenced previously. There are one variance requested. Is the applicant or agent here? You are there, sir. Okay, stand by. And do we have any speakers here? Thank you, Deputy.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do have a registered speaker online in opposition.
Thank you. Just canvassing the committee, we're going to hear from the speaker and obviously the agent, but do we need a presentation or do we have any questions as a committee? Okay, I've looked at, oh, go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
I don't really have any questions at this time. I do have a question after we hear from the speaker. I believe the person online also sent a letter, and so I want to address that letter.
Very good, Ms. McCauley. Sir, can you give us your full name and your status, of course, and your address? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Terence Lang. I'm the owner of 94 Kitchener Road. The agent, Patrick McCauley, is on vacation.
So you're here instead?
Yeah.
Okay. You have up to 5 minutes to speak. You don't have to speak for 5 minutes, but after you speak, we may have some questions, and we may get questions from the speaker waiting online. So please go ahead.
So the only thing Patrick told me to say is that this is a correction of the previous committee approval. So that's it.
That is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Just stand by. You can wait, and we'll hear from the speaker now. Is the speaker online?
Through the chair, is the resident at 6 Seeger Avenue, Ross Canada, are you on the line? Ross, you have been unmuted. Ross Canada, you're showing that you're online and you have been unmuted on our end, so perhaps you're having a technical issue from your side. Perhaps you can log out and log back in.
Deputy Treasurer, just a question to you. We have for this file one letter of objection and one speaker. Are they the same person? No, they are different. Okay, I just wanted that for my own insight. Thank you.
Through the chair, if we could just pause for one moment, we're going to try again via phone to reach the resident at 6 Seeger Avenue. Through the chair, staff have made multiple attempts to reach Ross Canada, and there is no answer, so we will have to proceed.
Thank you, Deputy. Ms. Holman, please.
We had a letter of opposition from the, adjacent neighbor, I guess, regarding privacy light and, like, why are you back? We already know that you're here to correct an error from before. Is that why you're back for a variance? But that was one of their questions. And then they were also asking for a 6-foot fence between you and them. So that's number 92.
Okay.
Because that is a condition that this committee could put in place if we wanted to. So I just wanted your thoughts on it. I don't know if you've read the letters of objection. I understand you've kind of been thrown into being here.
No, I haven't read the letter.
Yeah, so you're a bit unprepared, I guess, in terms of some of the things that go with it. Okay, I just wondered if you had any answers, but thanks anyway.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman. Sir, did you take any steps to look at the light and the privacy to your neighbors with this application?
So this was approved a long time ago, like almost a year ago. Patrick is the one, my agent, Patrick McCauley is the one who handled all of it. I assume that whatever needs to be discussed was already discussed in the previous committee hearing.
So if I hear you correctly, you assume everything that was discussed in regards to this file was between the agent and the city, and that's your understanding?
Yeah, my neighbor was also here the last time, so everything was approved. 94A is approved. 94B is a mirror image of 94A, and there, I was told that there was an error made on the approval, so it's just
Okay.
the
So what we're
direction
gonna,
is mixed up.
what we're going to, okay, Ms. Ullman has, go ahead.
Again, I don't know if you know the answer, but I'll just rephrase it. Do you know if in the original approval there was a plan to put a fence between number 92, the neighbor, and yourself?
No, I don't think so.
There's nothing there right now?
No,
Okay.
no.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman. Thank you, sir. Just sit tight. I think we're going to turn to Ms. McCauley. Go ahead.
This is not for the applicant. If he has any further questions, I want to raise an issue here. If the staff could bring up the site plan for Kitchener Road. It's the application shows the site plan. And the application we have is for a building setback of 0.46 meters versus 1.2 meters. If you can see on that site plan, the person who is concerned is number 92. He is shown on the site plan where he is located. But the request for 0.46 meters is between the two existing buildings. It's the garage to the garage. On the outside lines, the setback remains 1.22 meters. Therefore, I am proposing that if committee approves this, that we approve it subject to the site plan, that the 0.46 meters be only between the two properties at the garage. In other words, I'm asking that this application be approved subject to the approval of the site plan. I haven't got the wording properly, but I'll let you give me the correct wording.
Through the chair, if you just tie it to the site plan, that's sufficient.
Okay. So I want it tied to the site plan.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Thank you, Deputy. Okay, and this is 92. When you were making reference to 92 Kitchener Road, this was the gentleman by correspondence, William Shaw.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so, sorry, go ahead, Ms.
Okay, I have one more question. So if we were to, I'm not sure if I can I put a condition in to build a fence between 92 and no? Can we put it as an undertaking in the notes for the record or not? If they're agreeable.
Through the chair, it wouldn't be for the subject property, and fences are not part of the purview.
Even though it would be screening to deal with the privacy issue to the neighbor, it would have to be built on their property. But if they're willing to undertake it, which was going to be my next question, can it just be for the record that the applicant has agreed to undertake putting a fence there?
Through the chair, you could add a for the record note for the minutes in that regard, or that they will, continue
That's
to.
only if, I'm going to ask that, but I.
If it's in agreeance, yes.
Okay. All right, so my question to you is, would you be willing to undertake putting a fence between 92 and your property?
And
it would not be a condition, it would be something that you're, as a good faith gesture, going to do for the neighbor?
And I am assuming that I have to pay for all of it?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay, so if we're in committee, then, yeah.
Okay, we're going to, thank you, sir. We're going to now talk within our committee, so no more questions or observations. Go ahead, Ms. Holman.
So, with the applicant agreeing to undertake to put a fence between him and number 92, as well as Ms. McCauley's tying it to site plan, I would be willing to support the application. So if there's no other comments, then I'm willing to move a motion. Okay, so with those two things then, so the condition to build in accordance with the site plan and to have a for the record note that the agent's willing to, or the applicant's willing to undertake at the very least discussions and contemplate putting a fence between him and number 92, I would move approval of this application.
Thank you, Ms. Holman. Do we have Ms. McCauley?
I will second that.
Ms. Ullman moved to approve with the conditions and also the undertaking by the owner who's present today, and Ms. McCauley seconded it. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. The motion is passed. Thank you. Sorry. Item 14, 18 Leahann Drive, Toronto, to legalize the side yard carport, 2 variances. Is the agent applicant available?
Through the chair, yes, we have the agent online, and there are no registered speakers for this item.
Thank you, Deputy, and noted. We do have, I see by our package, petition of support, 13 signatures, but no addresses with the signatures, worth noting for the record. Does anyone have, actually, let's just back up here. If we do have the agent applicant online, can they speak, please?
Good afternoon, respected Mr. Chair and member of the panel. I am the Shivangi Prajapati from the CM Designers and Engineers. My property address, my address is 537 Danforth Road. I am representing the client for the property 18 Leahann Drive.
Very good. Just 1 second. Let me canvass the committee. Do we need a presentation or do we have any questions? We do not seem to require a presentation, and we do not have any questions. The package is quite complete. Are you satisfied that we move into committee, or would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I would like to move with the committee.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, can you just ask where those people live that signed this petition? Because there were no addresses. Like, do they live nearby? Or?
Ms. Ullman's raised the point. As the agent, I'm going to ask you directly. Yeah. We're satisfied with the package, but we have a question about 13 signatures and no address. Where are these 13 signatures from? Is it the neighborhood or somewhere else?
The 13 people are living in the neighbor, yeah, neighbor.
That's in that neighborhood or beside the house or on the same street?
The same street.
Okay, thank you. Hold on a moment. Mr. Khan has a question for you. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir. I would like to ask a very simple question. All those 13 signatures without addresses is fine. But I would like to know, is there any immediate neighbor on that particular signature? I mean, 16, 14, something like that.
So, can you repeat your question?
Yes, madam. My question to you is through the chair. Do you have the signature of your immediate neighbors, left or right?
Yeah, we have those people's signature.
Could you
Let
kindly
me take a
identify
look.
them?
Yeah, give me a moment. I just go with that. I need to open that document. I'm extremely sorry about that. I'm not sure about the which one is a sign is a neighbor. Neighbored.
I have the list in front of me. Could you identify, please?
Uh, give me a moment. I'll just take a look. Sorry for that. I'm not sure about that which one is exactly for the neighbor, but that sign is I am sure about that this is the neighbor properties means the surrounding the street area. So I am not sure which one is exactly what. So I need to ask to the client. This is the things.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Thank you, Agent. We're just going to turn to Ms. McCauley. She has a question, I believe.
It's not a question, it's a comment. It's not unusual to get a petition, but if we have absolutely no idea who signed that petition or what their their relationship to the property, the petition is a waste of paper. And that is the position that Mr. Khan was making here. So I know that you are a fairly often come to the committee. Keep that in mind, that a petition without an address is a wasted piece of paper.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Does anyone have any other comments or questions for the agent? Okay, we're going to go into committee now and make a decision. How would the committee like to proceed? Go ahead, Mr. Howe.
Through the chair, I would move approval of this application. There are only two variances. They look very straightforward, minor. I take Ms. McCauley's point that we will not consider the petitions of support because there are no addresses given. But even disregarding those petition, I would still move approval of this application on the basis that it's appropriate and minor and meets the 4 tests under Section 45 of the Planning Act.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Okay, thank you. I will second that motion.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Howe, and we have Ms. McCauley seconding that motion. All those in favor? We have 4 for and 1 dissent. This matter has been approved, and we move to the next item. We are now item 15, number 9, Linden Avenue, Toronto. To construct a multiplex and a rear yard garden suite This is cross-referenced with previous minor variance applications. There are 4 variances before us. Is the agent or applicant present?
Yes, I'm the agent. Hi.
Okay, we'll get back to you in a minute.
Sure.
And do we have any speakers? I believe we do. 1 speaker.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do have 1 speaker here in person. We had a second speaker at 18 Linden Avenue, which has advised staff that they will no longer be participating.
Thank you very much, Deputy. Sir, you're the agent?
Yes.
Yeah, full name, thank you, and your address.
Hi, my name's Noam Hazan. The address is 14 Leswin Road, North York.
Thank you very much. Committee, do we require a presentation or have questions just to canvass you? Go ahead, Ms. Holman.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Yes, sir. We need explanations. Yes, explanation. Yeah.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chairman, could you perhaps ask the applicant if, how they feel about the Metrolinx condition? It's the environmental one.
Okay, so if I hear correctly from my colleagues, we are going to require some explanations to some questions we have. And I think right off the top, we'd like to know how you feel about the Metrolink condition.
We're okay with the Metrolink condition.
You're okay with it? Okay, so does that answer your question, Ms. Holman?
Yes, it does.
Could you? Yeah, okay.
Okay, now I'm going to turn to Mr. Khan, and you have some questions for this agent. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir. My question number 1 is that...
Sorry, would it be possible to present, or is that after the questions?
Through the chair,
Presentation?
Through the chair, I would just like to state for the record the correspondence received for this as well. So we have conditions from Metrolinx, community planning, 3 letters of objection, a petition of objection, and a counselor letter. And in terms of the conditions, I just want to make sure that the applicant is aware of the Metrolinx conditions. Staff, if you can please put the Metrolinx conditions on the screen. Just want to make sure that there's no question for you. You've seen these conditions of approval for Metrolinx regarding an environmental easement and a warning clause, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And through the chair, there is also community planning conditions. If staff can also put those on the screen. I just want to make sure that the applicant has seen all of the conditions.
I haven't seen those yet. If you could just highlight those slightly. Yeah, it's hard to read from here. Maybe it can be zoomed in. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. The second and third are fine. I'm just going through this 1A again. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We accept those.
Through the chair, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Sir, I'm going to address what you, circle back what you asked me. We can have you present. You can offer to present. I was just letting you know that we were comfortable not having a presentation, but if you would like to make a presentation, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I think I'd like to present if that's okay.
Okay, you have up to 5 minutes. You don't have to use all that time, but it is there.
Okay.
And we are quite satisfied with the package before us, but there are a lot of moving parts, so please go ahead.
Sure, thank you. So I will start, thank you for hearing me today. I will start that it is our opinion that the variances we are requesting today do meet the 4 criteria of a minor variance. So we really strongly believe that this project aligns with Toronto and Ontario's goals for adding gentle density in existing neighbourhoods. The multiplex law, which as of right, as I'm sure you all know, allows for biplex, for duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes as of right. And garden suites are obviously now also permitted as of right. So just our clients are community builders, and they really focus on purpose-built rentals. Their strategy is to really implement the key recommendations of the EHON initiative and provide diversifying housing options. really expanding the existing housing stock by introducing varied building types, units, and tenure options. Their projects, or the projects that we work with them on, really create opportunities, specifically this one, for couples, young families to enter into neighborhoods, while also supporting seniors who wish to downsize and stay connected to their communities. Focused on adding gentle density in transit-oriented neighborhoods. And our clients really become long-term owners invested in their community. It's really important to point out this is a very walkable site, 5 minutes to the GO station, 5-minute walk to on-demand car service, the Zip car, and really suited for tenants with no cars. It's a 6-minute walk from Norman Cook Junior School. There's multiple schools in the area, 8 schools to be specific, and 5 daycares within a 2-kilometer radius. It's walking distance to bike paths, belt lines, and parks. According to the official plan, this is a neighborhood area. So I just want to kind of give you some chronology from how this has evolved. So the original application had 14 variances. In discussion with community planning at that time, we reduced it to 11 variances. And today, here before you, we're at 5 variances, one of which we've even improved upon. I will just address a couple of variances briefly. So the first variance which relates to item number 1 on lot coverage. So we do believe that this is qualitatively minor. There are a lot of precedents in the neighborhood, 3 on Laurel that are significantly more, another one at 109 Linden, which is has more of a coverage than us, and then one on Granger, which also is 43%, has less coverage, than us as well. Minor variance 2, the north side yard setback. So I just want to highlight that we are actually improving the existing condition there from the current house. So currently there's 0.33 meters, and we are increasing it, or proposing to increase it to 0.45 meters on the north side yard setback. Again, there's multiple precedents in the neighborhood of such a setback as 0.45. Minor variance 3, which is related to the soft yard landscaping in the front. So we've maintained an existing previously approved parking lot. We are proposing to add a new tree. We've really put the minimal amount of walkway possible, and again, amenable to permeable pavers if required. And we've improved this variance as well. And again, lots of precedents in the neighborhood. And then the final variances, which is 4 and 5, which both relate to the rear yard landscaping. We ended up having this variance where it is today as a response to how we try to respond to some of the neighboring concerns. For example, the garbage was one of the concerns at the last hearing, that there'll be lots of garbage in the front. So we've allocated a garbage area at the back of the property, which obviously has to be on hardscape. Again, open to permeable pavers, and really limited the amount of walkways and widths of the walkways, as minimal as possible. Just in summary, our proposal adheres to the 4 tests of a minor variance, ensuring compliance with city regulations while addressing community needs, reduction and removal of variances. So we have reduced our variances. We do believe this is a contextual fit within what the city is expecting and how to densify the city. There are obviously environmental benefits to providing walkable housing, or housing in walkable areas. And my clients have engaged the neighbors. They've met with the neighbors in person to discuss their concerns. And I hope that you'll see merit in this application. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to be asking the committee if they have any questions, but I do have a question. But first to the committee. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir. I have 2 questions, sir.
Sure.
Sir, my question is that you were refused in October 16, 2024, variance number 1, which is a lot coverage. At that time, you were refused 36.3%. And now you are asking 39.2%. little bit more to give you permission. And sir, moving to variance number 5, that is garden suite. At that time, you were refused 39.01 or something like that. And now you are asking 35.83, further reducing.
Sorry, which one is that? Variance 5, you said? Okay, yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, I understood the question.
Sir, number 1 and number 5.
Okay, so I can't.
My question in number 1, you have increased than previously refused. In number 5, you are asking less or asking more than previously less. So these are the things which you have did little bit more in number than previously refused. And also there is a metro links condition that you are aware, and there are opposition letters 17. I don't know you are aware of that or not.
Yeah.
So altogether 17 plus 3 is concerned, 20 in opposition. So all these you have to address. How can you satisfy?
Can we have a 10-second discussion with my client?
Go ahead.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say. Okay, thank you. So from what we understood originally when the initial, we haven't changed the footprint of the building since the previous application. So we understand that there was either a mistake on the first or the second review by the zoning examiner on what the lot coverage was, but the actual footprint of the building has not changed since both in both applications. With regards to the second variance number 5, which is the same as, I guess, 4, again, the reason we had to end up increasing some of the soft, I guess, the hardscape in that area, and actually we reduced it from the front, moved it to the back, was to accommodate the neighbors' concerns of garbage being in the front of the property. And that's why we ended up having to go up slightly in the rear yard landscaping.
Sir, as I have mentioned, and also you should be aware, that councillor is opposing this particular application. And your 17 opposition letters, their main concern is on a smaller lot, you are putting a multiplex, and the size of your lot is 25 feet by 109 feet. And this is not the neighborhood character, as they say. And this is also increasing the density and shoeboxing of the family comforts.
So I will address that as well. So I think it's important for the council to really consider that we could have come in with this application, and also I guess also for the neighbours as well. We could have come in this application with the exact same footprint, same shell, asked for the same variances, but with a single family home, and then when we apply for permits, change to a fourplex as of right. I don't think that's, when we're discussing the variances here, I think we should really be mindful of what the actual variances are and how they relate to the site. The density is from my perspective, less of a factor because it doesn't really discuss and talk about the zoning since it's as of right anyway. So that's really how I would address that. I think really that the city are encouraging these sort of developments. Obviously, they're not as common as being such a new bylaw. But even from previous hearings today, we are seeing that the densification of the city is happening gently in these areas. And residents are going to see opposition, but we do see this as an opportunity to really offer affordable housing and good options for people to live in these neighborhoods.
Thank you.
And I just want to add, we have it is important to point out we have really gone. So we started at 14, we reduced it to 11 variances at the previous hearing, and now we're really only at 5 variances, 2 of which are the same variant. So 4 in practicality.
Thank you, sir. So definitely some reduction in the variances. Ms. McCauley?
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at this application, and bearing in mind that the city is going towards additional multiplexes, why can you not build in accordance with the city's new standards?
So what do you mean by that?
Well, if you were meeting all the city's standards for the new multiplexes, you would not be in front of us today. You would not have included the community. You would not be asking for either 9 variances or 5 variances. You would be totally complying with the city's new policy. Why can't you do that?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I mean, really, we want to get we want to get maximum density or as much density as we can on the property, and reduction in width of building, for example, would really impact a reduction in the number of bedrooms in a unit, for example. So if we were to come in 2 feet, for example, on one of the setbacks, that would severely impact the number of bedrooms we would have on each floor and in each unit. And therefore may not make the project that feasible as a yeah. And they are meant to be family oriented as well, right? So if we end up with 4 one-bedrooms, they're not really accommodating families anymore. So it's those tight setbacks sometimes that make it a bit tricky, but with minor variances, they can really become a very feasible project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have another picture? I only found one in the package. I'm going to take an opportunity to speak of the proposed building and the garden suite. Can you bring up that picture, staff? It's a rendition. I guess it's generated projection. It's very modern. This is all the old pictures, but there it is. Is that the only picture, sir, of this new proposal plus the garden suite?
That's the only rendering that we have, yeah, on file.
Yeah. So that's my question too. Then I think you know where I'm going. Why is this the only picture? And it's almost like a peekaboo moment. Like,
right.
Why this?
I mean, we have sections and elevations that I figured there'd be ways to extract that information from there. I mean, really, that's sort of it's not in for any intention. That's how we present our projects.
But not all of us are architects or planners. So, and I say that respectfully. It's just that a picture can sometimes be worth 1,000 words. I have some concerns about this proposal, especially with a garden suite. And the peekaboo picture just it heightens my awareness of how tight this is for the lot. I get the density that you're talking about.
I will add.
Let me finish. I get the density you're speaking to. Good. I get the close to transit. Good. I like the fact that you've made real strides to come down in your variances. Good. I'm just concerned about this piece of land with this suggestion and application. But that's my comments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I will add. It probably was a bad idea to put that image on the front. It's not a perspective image, so it does look very compressed and like everything looks kind of tight. It's not really a realistic rendition of the project. I don't even know if that is current. I'd have to check back and compare that. But it does look. I get what you're saying. It looks very tight when you're looking at it from that perspective.
And I appreciate that. We're just trying to do our jobs the best we can.
For sure.
Does somebody have a question? Ms. Holman, go ahead.
Have you been in touch with the counselor's office? Because the counselor also objects vehemently, I might add.
Yeah, so we're a bit confused by that because my client had spoken to the counselor's office. Their position was they don't give a position on these projects, but we were kind of blindsided by that today because this came in actually late yesterday. So I'm also kind of unsure why it's included on the record. We tried to actually have this presentation submitted on Friday, which was late, and we were denied that presentation. But then the councillor, we noticed that the date today was on the 11th, which was yesterday. So I was a bit confused by that. But we did try to engage, and I don't know if there's a relationship with the councillor and someone else on the street. Yeah. So I could just ask for another quick chat with the client. My client just informed me he had a 25-minute call with the councillor's office, a really engaging conversation. The person that he'd spoken with had said that he would bring this to the councillor, and he was positive about the application. So we were really kind of shocked by this letter this morning. We're not quite sure where it came from.
Fair enough. Let's take a pause. I believe we have a speaker, and let's pivot to the speaker who's been very patient, I might add. And if we could get your full name, first and last, and your address, please.
I'm Darlene Kelly. I live at 10 Linden Avenue, directly across the road. I've lived in this neighborhood since 1982, owner of this house. This neighborhood is a single-family residence. There are no apartments around except for 2 streets over, which is an apartment building. My concern is it's too close to the existing neighbors. The proposed building is not in keeping with the neighborhood, whether with footprint on the property. The lack of green space would also equal flooding. We all need green space for the water to absorb, and if there's no green space, it's going to flood out onto the streets. The fourplex garden plus the garden suite equals 5 families, and this is very confined space for 5 families if they want 2-3 bedrooms on each floor. And over an abundance of garbage was my concern too, not just being on the front yard, but on the street when the garbage people come and pick them up. And this will also create a strain on the existing infrastructure. We're in a very old area, so the infrastructure is not all that great. Water pressure is not all that great. So this will create a great strain. It's a very large piece of building on a very small piece of property. And we're just not happy with the whole design. And coming from 14 minor variances down to 11, down to 5, I don't think it's in keeping with the minor variances. I don't think it's minor at all. Thank you.
Thank you. There may be some questions. Just one second. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you for your time. If this committee has no further questions for the applicant and owner, the agent, pardon me. And just being reminded, of course, too, sir, as the agent, you have 5 minutes to rebut if you choose to, yes.
Thank you. Thanks for speaking today. So just to want to address a couple of those points. So I guess one of the comments you mentioned was flooding risk. The differences really between what we're proposing is quantifiably minor, and the project will comply with all environmental regulations and incorporate effective stormwater management systems. We are committed to building sustainable practices that mitigate the environmental issues. Garbage, again, we put the garbage at the back as a concern, a previous concern, really out of sight for the neighbours. But again, I'm not sure if this is a variance-related issue. And again, the strain of the infrastructure that was brought up, the city are encouraging these types of developments, and therefore we do have confidence that the city can accommodate them. I want to just, is it okay to address the council with one point about the councillor's letter that we just had read? Is that okay? So the councillor's letter that we just looked up, we saw that in the beginning it really referenced the garden suite. And I guess, is that the committee's view as well, that the garden suite is what's making this project difficult, so to speak?
I'll speak for me. I'm not going to speak, we'll canvass the other members, but I'm concerned about it. Ms. Holman?
The committee usually states their opinions when we're in committee. We usually don't get into a dialogue with anybody speaking.
Right. Okay. So I want to leave with a thought. I mean, it's very important today for us to really get through this committee and be able to continue with this project. You know, we've been delayed once already. You know, obviously, we'd love to see the application go as we proposed, but we are amenable to considering removal of the garden suite if it's the only condition that will allow this to pass through. Again, I encourage and hope that this won't be the case and that you will pass it in its entirety. But if that is the one sticking point, and you know, it will be a big loss for us. But again, we hope to get something through today that we can continue to build and not delay this project any further. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for looking for solutions. We're going.
Through the chair, I'll just state to the agent, if you are planning on amending this application, you have to make that clear for the record and also adjust your variances, what variances you would be either reducing or eliminating.
I mean, I suppose the variances that will be eliminated are the 4 and 5 from this application. I think that's probably what would be eliminated.
Through the chair, and what about variance number 1?
It doesn't relate to the garden suite because it's not, coverage isn't related to garden suite.
Okay, well, through the chair, just my point is, if the applicant is deciding to amend their application, we just need to have that decision clearly stated for the record and what variances are being removed, if that's the case.
To make it clearer to your statements, perhaps what you would request is a deferral of this application.
No, we're not. We wouldn't.
Not interested in that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's really a time and money thing. For you know, it's really gone on for a long time, and we need to kind of move forward.
A deferral would allow you to reconsider further discussion with the consultant and understand what changes you can make. But the deferral is totally up to you.
No, I appreciate that. I think we will like to move ahead. I think removing 4 and 5 will end up us having to take away the garden suite because it just won't be feasible. So we're going to say we're going to eliminate the minor variance for the rear yard, and I think that as an outcome will end up wiping off the garden suite.
Okay, through the chair to the agent, just as long as you understand the risk that if you're not getting a deferral and you're not having this reviewed by the buildings department, there may be additional variances or the numbers may change. So just as long as you're willing to take that risk.
Is it okay if I just check with my client? Thank you. I have to say it. Okay. Okay. Yes, I think we would like to still move ahead. Again, we would plea with the council to allow this in its entirety, but in the instance that they have concerns, we will be happy to eliminate variances 4 and 5, which will impact the garden suite.
Okay, through the chair. So this would be an amended application where the applicant is removing variance number 4 and variance number 5, and the purpose would be amended to remove reference to a rear yard garden suite, if that is what the applicant desires.
Correct, yes. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you, Deputy. Okay, we'll go into committee now. Who would like to start? Ms. McCauley, please.
Okay, I'd like to start on this. Your original proposal, or the proposal, not the original, this is the second one, really. The proposal we have today is for a 4-unit multiplex and a garden suite, or maybe not a garden suite, but what we've got here. This is a proposal. You've got 5 variances that we need to consider. And I think we also need to consider the overall impact of this multiplex and garden suite on the community. This is a small community. These lots are small, 25 feet by 100 feet, so they're not a big lot. It's not an end lot, it's in the middle of the community. Whatever happens here will have an impact on the adjacent properties. It will also set a precedent for other properties in the area to also build multiplexes and garden suites. We know from what the City of Toronto's Planning Department and Council has been saying is that we're trying to encouraging housing, we're trying to encouraging multiplex, and we're trying to encouraging garden suites. But there's a phrase that I'd like to use. In this encouragement of this, we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. In other words, we want to proceed very cautiously. We want to get it right, because if we don't get it right, and if we have 5 or 6 of these that are all wrong, the whole area and the purpose of building multi-suites and that policy change will change yet again. So we have to be very cautious here. I am very cautious here. You haven't convinced me in this small area with small lots that 5 houses or 5 dwelling units, 6 dwelling units really is desirable. I want to take a cautious view. If you met all the requirements of the new city garden suites, you wouldn't be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Macaulay. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Sir, through you, I would appreciate to know from the Deputy Secretary Treasurer about variance number 5. Madam, would you be kind enough to tell me what it was?
Through you, Mr. Chair, and staff can pull up the notice on the screen again as well for the record. So variance number 5 was relating to the garden suite, and it was stating that the minimum required soft landscaping area is 45.9 meters square, and the proposed soft landscaping area is 35.65 meters square. That's 38.3%. And the applicant has amended their application to remove that variance.
So 29 point?
So they were proposing 38.3%, whereas 50% was required.
Thank you.
Just a clarification. The variance is for soft landscaping. He can still build a garden suite.
Through the chair, they could build a complying garden suite.
Yeah.
So we're not at an impasse. It still stands that the removal of those variances, satisfies for the purpose of what we're doing here, that they're willing to remove the garden suite. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Can you say yes, sir?
Sorry, yes.
Thanks. I'd like the head nod, but I just want that on the record. Does anyone else have, thank you, Ms. Macaulay, too, for making that clarity. Your expertise comes through. Does anybody else have something? All right. Mr. Howe, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chair. To the applicant, you heard what Ms. Macaulay had to say about this application. And to be quite frank, I'm sort of also leaning towards that that position. And on this basis, I truly encourage that you consider the option of a deferral, and I encourage you to speak to your neighbors and come back with a more sensible, reasonable approach as opposed to continue with this, because you might not get the approval you're seeking. So I just want to make that comment out here.
Thank you.
And just before Ms. Ullman speaks, I'm going to ask the deputy something. Is it possible, maybe against procedure, but I want to know, if this could come back as soon as next month? Is there room on the agenda to move this in?
Through the chair, no, we can't guarantee that right now. We only guarantee the dates once the application is complete, ready to proceed, and whatever available date we have at that time. Presently, we are scheduling for April.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Ms. Ullman.
So I understand now that the applicant has officially amended and removed variances. So to Mr. Howe's point, for me, this is not just about the garden suite. I mean, the house, the multiplex, it's a massive structure on a tiny, tiny lot that seems inches away from the adjacent neighbors. And I just, I'd like to think that all the changes in policies for intensification of housing that everybody talks about, doesn't seek to actually destroy neighborhoods and the people living there having such a structure abutting against their property. So I also kind of echo what Mr. Howe said, that, a deferral may be the best way to go. I don't think I can support this application as amended.
Do we still have the option to defer?
Thank you, Ms. Ullman.
So unless, if Mr. Chair wants to go out of committee, I don't know, and just to the deferral alone.
So let's step out of committee because everybody's tried real hard here. We're stepping out of committee now. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think based on the information that we've heard and I've just discussed with my client, we will defer. And thank you for considering today.
And I want to thank you, and so does this committee, for trying to also work with what's happening here. With this being said then by the agent and the owner present and the person who also gave some information, do we have a motion to defer? Let's go back into committee, sorry. And do we have a motion for deferral?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Howe.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I move to defer this application, Sindai, on the basis that the applicant is
to the next available hearing.
or to the next available hearing date. We hear consent from the applicant of this deferral. I do want to make note that I appreciate the applicant has done considerable work to reduce the amount of variances. But as we heard from all my colleagues, we also have to consider what is appropriate, right? The variances must be appropriate for the neighborhood. On that point, I move to deferral of this application. I wish the applicant good luck in your discussion with the neighbors.
And through the chair, that's as amended.
As amended, yes.
Noted. And Ms. Holman?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'll second that motion, and I also want to commend the applicant for not only having moved away from a lot of variances to come back today, but your willingness to again revisit this and come back with something that's just a better fit within the neighborhood. And I recognize it's a constraint having the narrow lot, but so I'll second the deferral motion.
So to recap, we have a motion to defer by Mr. Howe of an amended application, and we have it seconded by Ms. Ullman. All those in favor? That is unanimous. We will defer to the future. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Shall we continue? We shall continue. Thank you. We are on item 16, 192 Tower Drive, Toronto, to construct a new side yard carport to the existing dwelling, and there is one variance. Is the agent applicant available?
Through the chair, yes, we have the
Yeah,
agent. Yes, we have the agent online, and we do also have one speaker in opposition.
Okay, is the speaker present or online? Online too. I just want to check. Agent, for the record, can you please state your full name and your address?
KJ Kanesalingam, 400 Finch Avenue, Unit 38.
Okay, let me just.
On behalf of Bonnecherre.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm just here on behalf of the owners.
Thank you, sir. Sorry about that. Although we have someone who will speak to the committee, does the committee have any desire to hear a presentation or have questions?
I don't have any questions, but I suggest that instead of a presentation, that maybe, if assuming it's the resident at 190, express concerns about the blockage of their windows and light, that maybe he just speaks to that.
Thank you for that suggestion, Ms. Ullman. Sir, if you heard Ms. Ullman, would you give us sort of an overview of what you're doing with that concern from the resident nearby, the neighbor?
Through you, Mr. Chair, before we get to the agent, sorry.
I reviewed the objection with the owner.
Sorry, through the chair, can you kindly just read the purpose of the application and what materials, if any, were received?
My apologies. We have one letter of objection and we have one speaker. Thank you. Okay, the agent, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so the purpose of this is to build a carport on the side of the property right now. The minimum space for the minor variance that was open was the car parking space is a length of 5.6 meters and width 3.2. And what we're proposing is a single car parking space, which is 6 meters and a width of 2.5. I reviewed the objection with the owners of the property. The way that they're structuring the carport, it will be open on all three sides, just with the roof. But I believe that the objection that has been raised is that it might have some sort of obstruction into the neighbor's property. But that's basically it.
Thank you, sir. We're going to ask you to hold on a minute. Is the speaker available in this matter?
Here.
Hi, good afternoon. At this point, can you give us your full name and address, please?
Yes, it's Misha Athanasiadis, 190 Tower Drive.
Okay, you have 5 minutes to speak. You don't have to use that all up, but you can tell us what your thoughts are in this matter. Go ahead.
Thank you. As was addressed in the letter, basically, my feeling is that this carport would be going right where my one side window is. And with the height of the carport, generally it would block my window because it would go above where my window is. So it would prevent and probably hinder a lot of light from coming in. Also, we do have in the basement windows in that area as well, and it would block light going in there for the basement tenants.
Thank you for that. I have a question. What side are these windows facing?
East.
The windows face east. Okay. For both windows, the basement and the upper.
Correct.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for the speaker? No? Okay. Is the agent present?
Yep, I'm here.
You're entitled to a rebuttal. Do you have anything to say to that, sir?
So the reason why the height of the roof was designed that way is just to make sure that um, it's structurally sound because it's not in between the current structure's windows. Um, we feel that it will not entirely block it. However, there might be some obstruction, but I don't feel that there will be a complete blockage of any sunlight. And based on the space and what we're given with, we're just trying to work with, the space that's given, and this is just to an add-on to their existing property.
Thank you, sir. We got a question from Ms. Ullman.
Just a quick question. I am not an architect, but I know there's a lot of new materials out there. Is there any kind of material that a light can pass through that you can use for the roof part? Because that's really the only closed. You say everything else is open, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So is there any kind of material available
That's
now?
something. Yeah, so that's something that we would have to take back with the designer and see if we could use something that's strong enough to withhold and also give that clarity view, or even a partial where we don't run into that issue of completely blocking it.
Okay, and you're willing to have a look at that as an option if there is
Yeah,
anything?
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman, for that suggestion, and thank you, sir, for considering it. There are materials I'm factually aware that can be done in that application. So having said that, I think we have a question from Mr. Khan. Or no, we have, should we go into committee? We're going to go into committee now.
Question.
Oh, we have a,
No.
okay, so we're in committee. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, sir. Motion.
Okay, do you have a motion you'd like to put forth?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I have a motion. It's one variance in front of us, and it has been okayed by the transport services. So I move this application be approved.
Sure, I'll second that. And to staff, would you be okay to put in the notes again that the agent's willing to undertake looking at a type of material for the roof to let light penetrate?
Through the chair, yes, we can put that note for the record in the minutes.
Okay, thank you. With that,
Yes,
I would
that
second
would
the
be fine.
motion.
Thank you. We have Mr. Khan with a motion to approve. We have Ms. Ullman seconding that approval. All those in favor? That is unanimous, and it has motion passed.
We have one item and then go into our afternoon session. Probably a number of these people are here for the afternoon session. You may want to consult with us as to how long a break we'll have before the afternoon session starts.
Yeah.
I'm okay with having ours.
Through the chair, sorry. That was alarming. Through the chair, for members of the audience that have come in, we're on the last agenda item of the morning session. We will be breaking shortly for lunch. So if you would like to leave and come back, we will be gone, including this item that's to be heard, at least an hour. So it's up to you if you would like to stay or come back.
Oh, Deputy, just so you know, I canvassed the committee. We're good with 30 minutes in light of the weather conditions today. Is that okay? Oh, it has to be 45. Can we do 45? Okay. Oh, oh. Item 17. 27 Milliken Boulevard, Unit D9. And this is to permit retail use in the existing food manufacturing facility. And there's one variance. Do we have the applicant agent available? Oh, they're present. Are you the applicant or agent?
Through the chair, there's no registered speakers for this item. We just have the agent here in person.
Thank you very much. I just want to note, too, from our package that there is a condition of approval from community planning. Oh, is there also a Metrolinx advisory on this one? No, there's not. Okay.
Yes, there's a Metrolink.
Right. Please, your full name and your address.
My name is Diane, last name's ING. The address is 120 McLevin Avenue, Unit 2A. I am the agent.
Thank you very much. Let me go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Okay. Unless the applicant has something to to add to this, I'm prepared to move forward. I have seen a number of these type of applications for adding a retail and a portion of a manufacturing complex. We've seen a lot of this. I have no problems. So it's up to the applicant of whether the applicant wants to add anything further.
No, I thought everybody just need to enlighten the day. It's been very long. I just want to say thank you for acknowledging that request for a lot of the clients in that plaza. And indeed, they provide a lot of good frozen food that we can all enjoy when we have a retail. So especially now that the price has gone up a lot, so maybe you can go to that plaza and enjoy some purchasing because we have the retail approved. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We have something from Mr. Khan. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, sir. Although my question is a little bit different, but I'm just asking. You are asking in a manufacturing district where public is not encouraged. Do you have some idea how many, if we give you approval, how many people will be coming for the retail?
Well, based on the old bylaw, all of those owners has been there over decades. Since this particular owner operating this manufacturer has purchased 2013 in his name with a partner, and then he changed his solo ownership after a little while. But all the owners there is operating in retail initially. It's just that they have changed the bylaw.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's take this into committee. Okay, we'll start with Ms. McCauley.
Okay. I'm also assuming that you have seen the staff's report that says that you will build in accordance with the proposed plan.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chair, I think this is a very small, minor variance. It is one that we have seen throughout the industrial areas. I think it meets the test of a variance. I recommend approval, subject to that condition that of community planning.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley.
I will second the motion.
Oh, Mr. Khan has seconded the motion. So moved by Ms. McCauley to approve with the condition of community planning, seconded by Mr. Khan. All those in favor? Unanimous. The motion is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Through the chair, we've reached the end of the morning's agenda. Staff will reconvene the afternoon session at 2 p.m. Thank you. Everybody, please turn off your microphones and videos.